Hello and welcome to the ReThink Cleo Connect. We have an exciting session planned ahead for you on pitfalls of letting your ERP or TMS handle your EDI. EDI runs your most critical business revenue, and the technology powering this transaction should not be compromised. However, often organizations consolidate EDI with peripheral systems of record, such as an ERP or TMS. These consolidations can lead to unintended consequences and significant shortcomings. My name is Manish Sarda. I lead channel strategy and execution for Cleo. I have 20 plus years of experience in technology arena, specifically in modernization of enterprise applications. Over the years, I have worked with large as well as small and medium enterprises in various industries like manufacturing, retail, 3PL, distribution, healthcare, and finance around the world. My expertise is in digital transformation and modernization of critical enterprise applications. In this area, we have been able to provide to our clients expert guidance on strategy and methodology around process for selection, upgrade, and migration of successful deployment of enterprise applications. My goal always has been to be trusted advisor and provide thought leadership to our clients. The way I will cover today's topic, pitfalls of letting your ERP or TMS handle your EDI, is as follows. First, we will cover some of the ERP functions and what it means in postmodern ERP. We will talk about various postmodern ERP applications like TMS, WMS, OMS, and where they fit in an enterprise in today's world. Second, we will cover why EDI is critical to enterprise, what it means, and what is needed for robust EDI processing. Then we will cover challenges of EDI inside ERP or WMS or TMS, and wrap it up with two takeaways from this session. During this session, we will have our experts monitoring this chat session to answer any questions you may have. So as we go through this session, let's make it interactive. Ask your questions in the chat session, and we will make sure that those are answered. So what are the traditional ERP functions? Historically, ERP is a process used by companies to manage and integrate important parts of their business. Common ERP modules support back and front office functions like finance and accounting, procurement, manufacturing, inventory management, order management, warehouse management, transportation management, procurement, and workforce management, to give examples of a few. More functionally rich solutions may also include human resource management, e-commerce, and marketing automation. Each ERP module was designed for specific business function, providing the data and supporting the process that will help those employees do their jobs. Every module plugs into the ERP system, so the system provides a single source of accurate data even as business adds new module. If the ERP system is a toolbox, the modules are screwdriver, wrench, hammer, and other tools in the box that each have specific uses. During the 1990s and 2000, ERP software became essential to corporate IT infrastructure. Unfortunately, by mid-2000s, ERP software started getting backlash because they became this huge monolithic application, resulting in a high price tag, relative inflexibility of an integrated suite, which led to droves of ERP implementation failures. Out of this, a fascinating trend of postmodern ERP emerged. Let's first understand what is a postmodern ERP. By the way, you may have heard this from me in the last year's session, but it is also important for today's discussion. By definition, a postmodern ERP has a core ERP that covers the most important business functions, but unique parts of businesses are covered by specialized software application. What does that mean? A modern ERP is a philosophy for creating a flexible IT infrastructure in which different pieces of technology are adopted on their own merits and then integrated intelligently with one another to promote connectivity. Again, what does that mean? ERP have become service-centric and very modular. That is, a core ERP in the center plus specialized application for specific business functions around it. Postmodern ERP are abstract and have vanilla data abstraction. In the process of taking away or removing characteristics from something in order to reduce it to set of essential characteristics and making it simple. Now, a postmodern ERP is a set of applications that provide specialized business functions. Therefore, postmodern ERP includes traditional ERP with core functions and then additional application that provide specialized functions like transportation management, warehouse management, order management systems, etc. To give you additional proof point, Gartner says postmodern ERP is a technology strategy that automates and links administrative and operational business capabilities such as finance, HR, purchasing, manufacturing, distribution, supply chain management with appropriate levels of integration that balance the benefits of vendor-delivered integration against business flexibility and agility. This definition highlights that there are two categories of ERP strategy: administrative and operational. Administrative ERP strategy, this focuses on the administrative aspect of ERP, primarily operational capability. So they focus their ERP strategy on administrative functions, perhaps education and public sector, or project resourcing, billing, and costing in professional services. So why is it important to offload unique function to specialized software applications, right? So let's look at it one by one. Business agility and flexibility. With specialized applications from cloud, firms can leverage upgrades applied by software vendor, let users make configuration changes, and replace application with 2 to 5 year time frame. Reduced complexity of core ERP. Implementing a hybrid set of solutions frees company from having to customize a monolithic ERP suite to make a differentiating business need or drive user adoption. Third, improved usability and user adoption. User needs for web-based app-like interface can be satisfied by providing specialized cloud applications. Fourth, business appropriate integration. Integration of functions such as order management, material planning, transportation management can be tight where needed and loose with other functions where needed. Increased business outcomes. Postmodern ERP can deliver measurable improvements in business outcome. ERP modules intended for integrated suites often lack the depth of domain-specific functionality delivered by specialized cloud application. A postmodern ERP strategy can deliver great business process improvement faster than ERP suite can alone. And last, better use of IT resources. Postmodern ERP allows IT resources to focus on enabling innovation and differentiation instead of spending most of their time maintaining a bloated legacy monolithic system. As you saw earlier, Gartner's definition highlights that there are two categories of ERP strategy: administrative and operational. Administrative ERP strategy focuses on administrative aspects of ERP, primarily financials, human capital management, and indirect procurement. Some industries don't need operational capability, so they focus their ERP strategy on administrative functions, perhaps augmented by some industry-specific functionality such as grant management in higher education and public sector, or project resource billing and costing in professional services. These industries are generally service-centric industries. On the other hand, Operational ERP strategy is for organizations in manufacturing, distribution, retail, sometimes referred to as product-centric industry. They are likely to extend their ERP strategy beyond administrative functions into operational areas such as order management, manufacturing, and supply chain to maximize their operational efficiencies. For purpose of this session, we will focus more on operational side of the ERP. Again, going a little bit deeper into high-level kind of categories of operational ERP, let's first take the manufacturing side. Whether you specialize in pharmaceutical, food, or beverage technology, or other manufacturing sectors, the ideal tool ensure you increase your productivity, meet quotas, automate workflows, utilize the right resources, and make on-time client deliveries. Some of the popular requirements for the systems include sales order management, planning and scheduling, and sometimes even shop floor management. The second category, a broad category, is supply chain management. Keeping your eyes on every supply chain facet is easier said than done if you don't have the right software or tools. A typical supply chain management can have 10 plus different applications forming postmodern ERP. Some of the examples are supply chain analytics, transportation management, warehouse management, inventory management, demand forecasting, order processing, supplier management, and other tools. Help you gauge how well your raw materials and finished product make it to their ideal destination. The third category in this is order management. Order management platform ensure you track all order aspects from beginning to end. This tool also offers real-time inventory data updates, strong order tracking, forecasting, and multi-channel fulfillment options. We will briefly touch upon some of the specialized application over here, right? So let's start with the core ERP first. It will consist of standard core functions like HR management, customer relationship management, business intelligence, inventory management, finance, just to name a few. For specific functions or specialized functions, you may end up with a specialized application. And as most of you listening to this particular session, you may have many of these applications in your organizations. So first, let's look at a TMS. A transportation management system is a logistics platform that uses technology to help businesses plan, execute, and optimize the physical movement of goods, both incoming and outgoing, and making sure the shipment is compliant, there is proper documentation available. Various functions of a TMS include planning and optimizing of terrestrial transportation routes, inbound and outbound transportation mode, and transportation provider selection, management of motor carrier, rail, air, and maritime transport, real-time transportation tracking, service quality control in forms of KPI, vehicle load and route optimization, transport cost and scheme simulation, shipment batching of orders, even freight negotiations, cost control, reporting and statistics, freight audit. Typical KPIs include, but not limited to, percentage of on-time pickup or delivery performance related to request, cost per metric mile, kilometer, weight, cube, or pallet, productivity in monetary terms, example, cost per unit, weight, or shipping unit, productivity in operational terms, shipping units, order, weight, load, etc. As you can see, a TMS can be super complex and has a lot of specialized functions or expectations from an enterprise. Let's look at a warehouse management system. A warehouse management system is an application that helps control and manage the day-to-day operations in a warehouse. A warehouse software guides inventory receiving and put away, optimizes picking and shipping of orders, and advises on inventory replenishment. The benefits of a comprehensive warehouse management system include reduced fulfillment time, increased inventory accuracy, improved customer service, greater or optimal space utilization, increased warehouse productivity, and overall reduced operational as well as labor cost. Lastly, let's take a look at order management systems. This is a new breed of applications that have come into play over the last 10 to 15 years. Order management system explained in a different way. Receiving, tracking, and fulfilling orders across 2 or more channels can be challenging for retailers. And customers expect more flexibility than ever. Some may want to pick up in store and others may prefer order shipped. Managing this request coming from different sources such as website, apps, or in-store can be a logistical headache. If you use different systems for each channel, instead, an order management system can aggregate those channels and provide a single portal for all orders. As you can see, it would be difficult or complex for a single ERP to continuously manage and maintain all these functions in a single application. Order management is a new breed of application. Mostly it became popular over the last 10 to 15 years when e-commerce started to become more and more prevalent. Receiving, tracking, and fulfilling orders across 2 or more channels can be challenging for retailers, and customers expect more flexibility than ever. Some may want to pick up in store, and others might prefer the order shipped. Managing this request coming from different sources or channels such as website, app, or in-store can be logistical headache if you use different systems for each channel. Instead, an order management system can aggregate those channels and provide a single portal for all orders. As you can see, it would be difficult or complex for a single ERP to continuously manage and maintain all of the functions in a single application. A digital ecosystem is comprised of suppliers, customer, third-party data service providers, logistics provider, transportation providers, and all their respective technologies. B2B integration with EDI at its core is the digital fabric that helps companies in a digital ecosystem tie together all the business processes and systems at play so they can respond swiftly to supply chain disturbances, be they pandemic, hurricane, or geopolitical event, as well as to market opportunities such as increased e-commerce buying and fulfillment. EDI is a great way to overcome complexity and improve supply chain management. But underestimating your supply chain can derail a project from start. Remember, EDI isn't just one thing or really a thing at all. It's a methodology encompassing many sets of standards and transmission protocol, including orchestration and routing and scheduling. Your solution needs to align with requirements of your business and all of the businesses within your supply chain ecosystem. Globalization has resulted in larger supply chains, magnifying both the challenges and benefits of EDI implementation. A rigid EDI system won't be able to connect all of those stakeholders and could leave you struggling with manual inputs and ad hoc procedures that will undermine the entire point of your investment. Let's look into what a B2B process may actually entail. Let's look at sample of some of the B2B interactions. On the left-hand side, you can see enterprise application from postmodern ERP world like core ERP, TMS, WMS, OMS, e-commerce platform, etc. Each of these can generate different types of file format. It can be a flat file, it can be XML, X12, EDI, Redacoms. There are various different standards over there. It can be a direct integration to a database, a comma delimited file, just to name a few. Each of these applications may support some or multiple formats at the same time. To interact with outside ecosystem, you need support of various protocols like SFTP, AS2, or web services, REST APIs, depending upon the choice of protocol of your trading partner. Whether it is customer, whether it is a supplier, whether it is a carrier, or whether it is a 3PL provider. Internally, to connect to your various applications, you may use any of these above formats or protocol, or may even end up using a connector, right, specific to that particular application. On the other side of the equation, exact same challenge a customer faces. They may have multiple applications and require different file format and protocol to integrate. Now multiply this with a normal manufacturing enterprise who does EDI or B2B integration and has, as an example, maybe 200 customers and 100 suppliers and few carrier 3PLs. Managing all these protocols, data format, orchestration, etc., requires a very, very robust B2B EDI engine. As you have seen, EDI processing is critical to an organization. So let's look deeper into what are the key requirements of EDI or B2B processing. First and foremost, communication to your ERP and to your trading partner. Different trading partners might have different way of communicating, and so would your various ERP systems. EDI software on one side should be able to connect to your ERP in the choice of format and protocol that they have, as well as connect with your partner with the choice of format and protocol that they choose. Different trading partners might have different ways of communicating. EDI software should be able to handle this for each trading partner. The right communication method has to be used. Also, easy to use GUI-based translation to and from EDI formats to ERP formats and vice versa are preferable. Not only that, it would be great to have any format to any format translation. Handling of different various EDI formats like X12, EDI, Redacoms, CXML, etc. should be available. Sometimes you have to use more than one standard because your trading partner forces you or your ecosystem forces you to support more than one standard. EDI standards are not easy to use for import-exports. You will probably want to use a simpler format, example, a flat file, a fixed record, an XML, or a CSV from the ERP. Often you have libraries, facilities in your ERP system or interfaces for those formats. Example, an XML or a JSON. It should be able to handle different usage interpretation of EDI standards. Unfortunately, sometimes different trading partners have different non-compatible interpretation of same EDI standard also. EDI software should be able to handle different versions of EDI standard. EDI standards are actively maintained and change as new attributes code get added. So you will probably end up with different versions because different trading partners use them. Second, manage an overview of EDI flows and integration to backend applications. EDI engine should have ability to custom build and monitor the communication and processing flows from and to your application and to your ecosystem and vice versa. So you should be able to see What comes into the EDI software, what goes out, how an EDI file is translated, in case of error, a notification by email or a human understandable error report, pre or post translated file, or even a human readable communication log. These are bare minimum requirements of an EDI software. Third requirement of EDI software is support and validation and conversion of EDI data, EDI codes, and all custom code lists. EDI standards have thousands of code lists that standards adhere to. Based on agreement between trading partner, whether they are supplier, manufacturer, shipper, carrier, or customer, if the EDI data doesn't adhere to this agreed standard, the data needs to error out with specific reason. Another simple looking example may be different date formats, different codings, usage of control numbers, which tend to all be partner specific. Finally, another critical aspect of EDI process is business process visibility of document flows, like order to cash. In an order to cash flow, an 850 purchase order inbound associated or linked with 855 purchase order acknowledgement outbound to an 856 ASN outbound to an 810 invoice outbound is also a must. Ability to search on a single attribute like a PO number or an invoice number or a load number in load tender to invoice and drill down into complete processes is really important for EDI processing. With pandemic and supply chain disruption, there have been a lot of mandates from customers to adhere to service level agreements. That is another new requirement that has been added to EDI software. For example, a response to a PO with acknowledgement should be made within 4 hours. If an ASN is not provided, there could be a penalty up to 3% of the value of the goods. Turning around load tender with a response within 15 to 30 minutes, else the tender would be cancelled, is another example of an SLA that has become very, very critical to transportation industry. These are just few examples around SLA management that an EDI software should be able to support. Essentially, any enterprise has two choices of EDI processing. First, build it inside the postmodern ERP, like a core ERP or a TMS or a WMS, or use a standalone EDI processing application. Let's first cover some of the challenges you may face with EDI inside an ERP. The first challenge of EDI inside ERP or TMS or WMS is it will be tightly tied to an ERP. When an enterprise grows and are looking for new ERP or a TMS, they now have to worry about EDI with their partners also, as it will be impacted. An average enterprise that does EDI has generally anywhere from 100 to 200 partners, which in turn means hundreds of connections and 400 to 500 maps at the minimum that get impacted. With a tightly integrated EDI inside ERP, this is a huge challenge. Second, as you saw in previous slide, EDI is complex processing. If you do EDI inside ERP, most of the time you may require other solutions around ERP to help complete the EDI processing. Example, you may have a different communication software to support various protocols. You may have to write scripts around ERP to complete EDI processing. You may have scripts that does DB lookups or even does integration to different databases to pick up certain attributes and values. ERP or TMS applications have very lightweight EDI processing. Other limitation may be a TMS solution may not be able to support warehouse transaction or order to cash transaction. So you end up doing EDI in multiple places or applications. EDI is super critical to business and requires business visibility for order to cash, procure to pay, or load tender to invoice as an example. ERPs or TMS don't have any visibility to linked transaction leaving the day-to-day operation team as well as business team spending time searching for connected transaction. We see customers spend a lot of time in debugging an issue with their customer suppliers when they are hopping into communication portals or communication logs or EDI logs to figure out what actually happened to the transaction. Did it fail in communication or did it fail in translation? If it failed, what was the reason it got failed? This issue impact their scorecard with their trading partner, impacting rebates, better terms, or even enforced penalties. Integration challenges. This is something very important. Like I said earlier, you may end up with multiple applications to complete EDI processing if you do EDI inside ERP. Also, in an organization, data needs to move into different applications from different ecosystem players. Example, order may go to core ERP, stock transfer may go to WMS, shipping information may go to TMS. If EDI is bundled inside core ERP, enterprise may not be able to process EDI for WMS or TMS, like 940s or 204s or 214s. Seamlessly, as ERP may not have fields or modules applicable to leverage or store that data. Last important point is innovation. EDI software market itself is a very, very large market, but a lot of players are not innovating, specifically integrated EDI solution inside ERPs and TMSs. For them, it would seem like a dead investment as it is not their core capability or functionality. Furthermore, if there is no innovation, new EDI use cases like API integration, management of SLAs for different document flows don't get supported, and then enterprises have to build workarounds with other application scripts, etc., or do manual processing to support those kind of requirements. Let's talk about why standalone EDI engine is necessary for an enterprise. First of all, standalone EDI processing is a complete B2B integration platform. What this means is not only do they have EDI processing, which includes communication, transformation, standards, visibility, code list, lookups, orchestration, but they also do other integration with ecosystem and internal applications. Second advantage of a standalone EDI system is flexibility in communication and data types. As explained earlier, in B2B world, there are tens of communication protocols and various types of file formats. Standalone EDI solution provides flexibility to enterprise by saying yes to their ecosystem need, rather than being rigid and forcing their partners to adhere to certain protocols and standards. With standalone EDI B2B system, enterprise becomes easy to deal with. Enhanced process visibility. ERPs have reporting engines that are super complex and have to be customized to generate any reports pertaining to EDI communication or EDI data that has been received. Even with customization, they don't understand business flows for EDI documents. Standalone engines are designed to provide business process visibility. SLA management is another important aspect that is needed for standalone EDI system. Again, going back to the example of a customer charging 3% penalty on value of shipment if ASN is incorrect or is not delivered on time is a huge cost for a lot of enterprises and may completely break their economics. Standalone EDI software with correct capability can mitigate such risk. Other way to look at it is that a lot of customers, suppliers maintain their partner scorecards. And a good EDI system that helps them adhere to their standards and also manage their turnaround times for document becomes very, very critical. This helps in maintaining their favorable business terms with their partners by keeping a good scorecard with those partners. Innovation on B2B front. Standalone EDI B2B software companies like Cleo keep on innovating based on new market needs in the solution. whereas ERP's companies treat EDI modules as non-revenue item or minimal revenue item with limited focus on development enhancement. Most of the time, that is the main reason for limited functionality. If you take an example of modern needs of a B2B integration platform, API and SLA managements have been the key requirements over the last few years. And a good EDI standalone company would immediately add those in their capabilities or in their functionality in their solution. Standalone EDI systems are business critical application. Most of the organization treat them as tier 1 application. And the reason for that is more than half of their business or revenue goes through this particular platform. Enterprise want their customers, suppliers, carriers to show that they are always on, even if they have upgrades to their ERP or TMS systems. Take an example of Black Friday, where B2B interaction may be highest during the year. A good SaaS standalone EDI system can scale appropriately and project the enterprise to be always on and reliable to do business with. EDI software companies, as they specialize in EDI, have much superior support for operational issues and also have excellent team to help faster onboarding with communication, translation map, workflows. They in fact are cost efficient. ERP companies are more expensive and have limited expertise on EDI flows and take more time in resolving operational issues as well as onboarding activities, resulting in a higher TCO. Last but not the least, separation of ERP from EDI is very, very critical. It's another big advantage, as you don't want to customize your ERP to handle EDI. ERPs are good at extracts and ingestion of data and should be leveraged for that. As I said it earlier, we see a lot of enterprises growing and moving to new ERPs as it would be natural for them to add new functionality. In situation like this, having a standalone EDI can really help with migration to new ERP, as it can flow the data based on the customer, partner, product migration to either the new ERP or to the older ERP till the ERP migration has been completed. So what would a good EDI standalone system look like? If you see the Cleo integration cloud, right, at the core of the engine is ability to support any type of data format, whether it is JSON, whether it is CXML, whether it is flat file, or whether it is a spreadsheet or any other such format, including EDI, EDIFACT, Tradacom, and things like that. On the other spectrum, it also supports multitude of communication protocols like AS2, SFTP, WAN connections, portals, REST, API, and other things. Also included in the core engine is support for automation, orchestration, integration, and transformation, right? So these are the core capabilities, right, which allows you to communicate with your apps as well as your ecosystem, whether they are customers, suppliers, carriers, retailers, whoever they may be, right? But if you look at the top section of this particular diagram, it includes operational visibility. It includes message comparison, right? What came in, what went out. It includes exception management. If something fails, what really needs to happen? It includes activity monitoring, reporting, and alerts so that you can adhere to your SLAs and manage by exception. And last but not least, a very important end-to-end business process views. What it means again is ability to understand the process flows for order to cash, load tender to invoice, or procure to pay, right? And when you go to the bottom of this particular screen, you have ability to design your workflow, you have ability to do your map development on your own, you can do version control, change management, you can do profile configuration, etc., with integration testing as well as operational maintenance by yourself, right? And the key thing is it's a SaaS environment, so you don't have to worry about hardware or application maintenance because it will scale with volume automatically. So what are the key takeaways, right? I will leave you with two key takeaways. EDI is lifeline for enterprises, right? So my first key takeaway is standalone EDI platform are robust, and enterprises for whom EDI is critical for their business, they have to go for a standalone EDI platform. My second takeaway is future-proof your enterprise with a standalone EDI engine, right? So integrating EDI with your ERP system inside the ERP may lead to consequences down the road where your business may be disrupted during an ERP outage or an ERP migration process. So if you want to future-proof your enterprise, future-proof it with a standalone EDI engine, which will always show to your customers, your partners, your suppliers, your 3PL, your carriers that you are always on and reliable to do business with. That's all, folks, from my side. Hope you enjoyed this session. Feel free to send me your questions if you have any, and hope you have rest of the great event with Cleo Connect. Thank you.